Hi, it's Lisa Sweeney here from Business and Heels, and I'm lucky enough to be here today with Allison Shreeve, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to her because she's this amazing person. 4 world titles in windsurfing and ranked #1 in the world for 4 years. Since then, she's been on this amazing journey to reinvent herself as a marketing and social media expert, which she has done with all the same drive and enthusiasm. And I think you're going to be totally inspired by what she has today. She now gets to work with thousands of businesses and entrepreneurs. She's a keynote speaker and running her courses and inspiring people all over the globe. So, Allison, tell us a little bit about your journey.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for that lovely introduction. Great to be on here with you all. Well, I suppose with respect to my journey, it's been quite a colourful one. I was a professional windsurfer for 16 years. I got to travel the world doing what I loved every single day. And I got to travel to over 44 countries as an athlete, racing and competing and representing Australia. And, you know, it's one of those things that sometimes we put a lot of effort into the things that we're passionate about, but we don't always make money out of it. And unfortunately for me, I kept, going into debt to go overseas so that I could race, and then I'd come home and then I'd work, and I was building houses with my dad, on the shovel or whatever to pay off my credit card, and then I'd go and do it again. And it was just this perpetual cycle of getting back to zero, going into debt, getting back to zero, going into debt. And it was really frustrating because I was good at what I did, but I didn't really know how to monetize it. And so after my last Olympic trials in 2011, I was campaigning for London. And 1 week later, they kicked windsurfing out of the Olympics. So then it was like training for 16 years for something that then didn't even exist anymore, which made it even worse. And so for me, I was thinking, well, what's the point? What was the point of it all? And I know I inspired people along the way, and I know that, as an athlete, kids look up to you and things like that. But I was like, well, that doesn't help my bank account. It doesn't help me to be able to do what I want to do. And so I delved into a whole bunch of personal development courses and training courses and coaching courses. And I think I did something like 12 courses in 1 year just to really find myself and what I'm meant to be doing. And at the end of it, I realized that I actually had a new passion, and that was to champion the cause within you. So whatever you're meant to be doing on the planet, if I can help you get there, because I'm an ultimate action taker kind of person, then that would be fulfilling for me. And I truly believe that a lot of people give up on their passions because they can't cash flow it. They can't fund it. And a lot of people give up on inventions and cures for diseases and things like that because they don't know how to make money. And so I started as a coach and teaching people how to take action and get out there and live your dreams. And I pretty much found pretty quickly that if they didn't have marketing, if they couldn't make sales themselves, then they wouldn't be able to survive. And so I started developing courses and programs and done-for-you type services where I would become the complete marketing solutions for any entrepreneur or business. And so within a couple of years, I grew a global company. I generated millions of dollars worth of products and services online. I realized that if you could solve people's problems, you could make a lot of money, but also really help people. And that's really what it was about. And then a couple of years ago, I was completely exhausted. I had run over 200 seminars around Australia back to back. I was in the airport every third day. I lost my voice every 3 or 4 weeks because I was doing 17-hour-a-day coaching sessions, webinars at nighttime, and seminars on the weekends. And so my voice never got a break. And I'm thinking, well, this is great. I can run my business from anywhere in the world, but I don't have the lifestyle I want because I might be in a hotel in Bali and I can't go out to the beach because I'm stuck on a coaching call. And then I realized I needed to change what I was doing. And I think a lot of businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs don't actually understand or don't think about what will your lifestyle look like if I create this kind of business? Will it give me what I really want? Will it give me the money that I want? Will it give me the time that I want and the freedom that I want? And so I really restructured, and I developed a new business model that not only solved my clients' problems, it helps them create a residual income scalable business, but it also solved my problems, and I got all my time back too. And so and so that's kind of been my journey. It's an evolution of solving people's problems and then solving my problems, and then finally now I get to do what I love every single day. I get to help people create financial freedom. I teach them how, and I do it for them. And I can be anywhere in the world and do what I love. I'm actually about to go to the US for a few months. I'm leaving tomorrow. So you just got me before I got on the plane. So that's good. And yeah, so it's really exciting. And I've had incredible opportunities.
Well, and I think, you've got a little bit of a story there around how you need to be first. Why don't you tell us about, that mindset of focusing on first and how that's driven you to achieve?
Sure. So my coach, when I was a windsurfer, used to say to me, what's your goal for this event? And I would say to him, first. And he would say, no, be realistic. And I'd say, first. And I'm like, I didn't train for the last year to come second or worse. I didn't come here to get top 10. He's like, oh, but you don't have the skills yet and all that. And it's like, no, I'm going into every race as first. Now, it's funny because normally a coach would be the one pushing you to be first. But I was kind of, this is how I approach things in my life, that I would always aim for first. And so the difference between a first and a top 10 result is the attitude behind it. So if you think about sport, if anyone on this call has ever competed in any way, excuse me one sec. Sorry. I woke up with a bit of a cough this morning.
So you're doing wonderfully well.
Oh, thank you. If I keep coughing, you'll have to take over. But yeah, it's one of those things where the attitude into your race or into whatever it is that you're doing, if you have the attitude that I'm going to win this race, then how you perform in that race is completely different to how you perform if you're just going for top 10. As an example, if I'm pumping my sail and I'm racing or I'm running or whatever it is, and the difference between first and second is a meter, you're going to push hard to essentially, make that first result, right? If you're just aiming for top 10, second is good enough, and you'll let that person overtake you, and you let this happen, and you let that happen, and it doesn't matter so much, I'm still top 10, it's still a good result. And so guess what you get if you're aiming for top 10? You get top 10 or 11 or something like that. If you aim for first, then you're more likely to get first or close to it, if you know what I mean. So I always have this attitude. And also too, in product launches, if you're first to market, you will make the biggest bang. You will make the most money.
Yeah.
It's like being front row on the starting line. If you're second or third row, you're getting the dirty air or, there's turbulence from everybody else, and you just can't get a good start. So, a lot of my coaching is around how can you be positioned against your competitors so that you can have the best chance for success? How can you be first to market? How can you be better, different, more high quality, cheaper, more exciting, newer, whatever, to have your X factor, so you're first to market, and also to the attitude behind being successful. In fact, I did a keynote yesterday, and I called it Tap In. And I'm really excited about this keynote because a lot of people tap out. They tap out in their life in lots of different circumstances. They tap out in relationships, they tap out of their business, or they try something and they go, oh, this is too hard, and they tap out. Well, my keynote was tap in, because when can I say, I don't know if I can say this, shit hits the fan, or when something really bad happens, are you gonna tap out, or are you gonna tap in to whatever it is that you need to be, or access to survive it, to be successful through it. I've had product launches where something really bad had happened. GoDaddy shut down all of our sites and everything, and we had to tap into every bit of resourcefulness and strength and everything to rebuild the sites and get it back up and tell our affiliates what was going on and rebuild the graphics and the design and the training videos. And you have to be able to tap in to whatever it is that you need to be successful in that moment. And as an entrepreneur and a business owner, we have to wear many hats. And we're not always good at everything. We're not always good at maybe the marketing side, or graphic design, or copywriting, or fulfillment. Maybe you're a good starter, but you're not a good finisher. And so we need to be resourceful. And if we can't tap into what it is within ourselves that can make it successful, if we just don't have the skills, we need to tap into other people's skills. And so it was really this idea about, okay, what is it that we need to make this successful? If you don't have the skills in this area, who do we need to tap into? Who do we need to get involved in this project to make it successful? If it doesn't work, what do we need to do? And in every person's life, there has always been a time in your life where at one point you were creative. There's always been a time in your life where at one point you were courageous. There's always been a point where, you've been a networker, or you've had to communicate with people. And so we all know how to do these things, whether we've developed them or not, and so being able to tap into things when you need them is a really valuable skill. And I suppose another thing to add to that is always have the presupposition of that anything is possible, that you can do it. Because if you think that you can't from the beginning, you're basically just saying, I just want top 10 and that'll do. And that's kind of how a lot of people live their life.
Yeah, and I think you've put together, so I've spent a weekend with Allison, and we've gone through all sorts of different things on all different topics of marketing and social media, and how to get product launches to work, and how you can communicate with people and drive webinars and all sorts of different things. And what I loved is you've got a whole resource package for this, don't you? You've got a website all set up around this.
Yeah, so I developed a membership area which basically has everything that you need to know about how to build an online business. And one of the things that frustrated me in the industry is that a lot of, can I say, gurus out there, they focus on one area and they say, oh, we'll help you with your Facebook ads, or we'll help you with your website, or we'll just do your copywriting that's on the website. So people just focus on one thing. The problem with marketing is you need everything working together at the same time in order to get results. So you can get all these leads coming into your website, but the website doesn't convert, and therefore you won't make any money. Or you can have a website that converts and no leads, and then you still make no money. Or you can get the leads, make the sales, and your product isn't very good, and therefore you get refunds, and therefore it undoes all that work. And so everything has to work together at the same time. And it has to be at the right time of the day. It has to be the right customer, the right product, the right message for that audience. And everything has to be perfect in order to build enough trust so people go, yes, I want to buy that thing. And so, in the industry of marketing, a lot of companies go, oh, well, we built your website. It's that maybe they weren't sending targeted traffic, or, oh, we were sending traffic, but maybe the website doesn't work, and they blame the web guy. And so what I thought I would do is I would create a resource, and it would be a membership area with amazing training on basically all of the steps you need to do to create a successful, scalable, residual income business. And the reason for this is because I asked my customers, what do you want? And 100% of them, I'm not kidding, all said they wanted to make at least $1 million a year after tax. They wanted a residual income business where they could run it anywhere in the world. They wanted to travel between 3 to 6 months or more per year, and they wanted an easy step-by-step solution, and they wanted to do it within the next 6 months to 2 years. Everybody said they wanted that, or some small variation of that. And so here I am thinking, okay, well, how do I help people create a multi-million-dollar residual income scalable business, like from a $3,000 program or from a 10, like how do I do, like, you can't, right? Unless you do it for them. Yeah. And so I thought, well, okay, well, first of all, I'll start with the training on how to do it. And so I created this training, everything from how to come up with the concept of your business, your product creation, and understanding your market and how to solve their problems, and into, building a site and understanding landing pages and different sales funnels, copywriting, video marketing, and all the way up to traffic. And I've even put in there some quantum thinking ideas. How can you leverage your time in your business? Outsourcing. Instead of spending the time posting the social media, train somebody else to do the posting for you, and therefore you get all your time back. Starting to think differently about how you manage your time so you can be more successful in your business. And so I basically built this site which teaches you all these things. It has great resources. It even has my converting webinar template. And the best webinar we ever did, we generated over $750,000 US within 90 minutes. And so you have that template in this membership area, and you could download it and you could put your own content in, and it should, almost work for you straight away, because it's the science of selling in this webinar. It's very clever. And so there's all these great resources in there, and it's, I gotta share with you, Lisa, I spent over $50,000 on courses and training, and a year of my life immersed in going through this stuff. And there is more training in this site than all of those combined, because it's also added in, 5 years of marketing, doing huge product launches and things like that. And so, it's a pretty cool site.
Cool. And there's a link to it. So I think if anyone wants to muck around and learn it, there's a link to it with this video.
Oh, you put it with the video? Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. So you can just go click on it, and you've got 7 days to trial it free. So check it out and get your head around how it works, because there's so much content. I've been going through it, so have to say it's very impressive.
Thank you.
And Allison, tell us a little bit about your why, because I think people are always really intrigued. What it is, and you touched on it briefly that you want to make a difference, but what is it that really gets you up every morning and makes you really looking forward to what you're doing?
Sure. I have a couple of whys. I know that might sound a little bit weird or something, but my first why is I absolutely want to help people. I'm a reformationist. I don't know if you know what that means, but I like to reform people. I like to help them change their situation, and the only way you can change is if you change yourself. And so I like to help people change their circumstances and get out of debt, or get out of the situation, or increase, like they might have a successful business, but they don't have the time they want. So how do we reform this and make it better so that they can have the lifestyle that they want? Because you know what? Life's short. I'm 35 years old, and I've already been to 46 countries. I do a bucket list thing every 6 weeks. I've had an incredible life, and I feel like I've crammed more into my life than both of my parents combined. And, my parents are 60, so it's really interesting, just having a different mindset, and a big portion of that, I traveled the world with no money as well, when I was racing. And so you don't actually need money to travel. People think that you do. You just need to get creative. And so I like to reform people, and I like to help people live a fulfilled life. And I think a lot of people have things that will really help the world, and they're not getting it out there because they don't know how to do it. So it is more of a let's help humanity kind of a why, because I believe the world would be a better place. People would be happier. Families would be happier if they were really doing what they're meant to be doing. That's the first thing. The second reason I do what I do is my family. My parents were the most supportive people in the world when it came to windsurfing, and you know, they probably invested over, gosh, maybe over $1 million into my windsurfing career. Every time I needed money, they said, "Don't worry,
Wow.
we'll help you," and they would send me another $3,000 for another board. And you know, I know my siblings probably went without sometimes because mum and dad were pumping all this money into me, and so you know, I also know that my parents, they were builders their whole life, and you know, they don't necessarily have you know, huge savings and, you know, superannuation accounts, and, you know, like they just, they didn't understand investments and things like that when they were younger. And so they invested, like we own a farm and we have lots of machinery, like lots of bulldozer and things like that. But a bulldozer is a depreciating asset. So even if you spend $80,000 on a bulldozer, it's unlikely that you'll get $80,000 back unless you do dozing for people, right? So, you know, my parents, one day, Dad is not going to be able to work anymore. You know, he's tired. He's been sucking in dust and working hard on the tools his whole life, and so when the time comes and they go, "We can't work anymore," I can go, "Don't worry, Mum and Dad. I've got you back," and that's something that I'm really looking forward to being able to do for them. This is a public video, so they may find out about this now. I don't know, but yeah, I haven't really shared this on a video live streaming to the internet before. I've done it in live rooms, but not like this. But you know, it's something very special that I'm working towards that I can do for them when that time comes.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing it for them, and obviously, you know, I want to live my life to the fullest, just out there, kind of whatever I can achieve in my short life that I can. And I'm already doing it, which is exciting. But there's always new levels. Once I reach a goal, I always go, "What's the next thing I can do?" And you know, a couple of years ago when I was broke and $37,000 in debt, I thought I want to speak on stage with Tony Robbins, and I did it within 4 years. And like I manifest things because I go after it, and now it's like, oh, now that I've done that was cool. What's the next thing? I don't care if I don't ever speak on stage with Tony Robbins again. I mean, it was awesome, and I'd love to do it again. I'm just saying, but I've done it. So what's the next thing? Maybe I can speak, you know, on stage with, you know, world leaders and to 30,000 people, and what's the next thing there? So I love to experience life, and you can't experience life if you're bogged down in a business, you don't have time, and you don't have money to do things. And so, and then also there's some charities and causes that I'd like to give to, and the more money I make, the more money they get. So, you know, things like that. It's just yeah, I have a few.
It's great. And I think, look, you know, if people take nothing else from this video, it's your enthusiasm to create those goals and chase them and get there. You know, if people don't dream big enough, the dreams never happen. I guess that underpins a lot of what you do and why you do it, which is awesome. So on that note, thank you so much for joining us, Allison. It's been great. For anybody that's really wanting to check out marketing and social media solutions, check out the link that we put with this, and Allison will be back, and we'll be sharing some tips over the course of the next months and weeks. So maybe even when she's in the US, who knows? So thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
No worries. And good luck, everybody.